I am Ashley Rose. You can call me Ash. I'm with TWM News. We're now TWM Plus, the home of wrestling, pop culture, music, film. We're everything now. I'm here with Jai Vidal from Impact Wrestling, the man, the legend, the one that's always got the quintessential divas back. Jay, how are you?
I am doing phenomenal, and that's right. I stand by Giselle Shaw as I should, right? So I am Giselle Shaw's executive stylist and content creator. And thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you. A lot of people, as far as the impact community, they want to get to know you. You have just recently signed with Impact. You were there briefly a little bit before you signed. So the main question is, I just want to clarify with you that Gangrel actually trained you.
Yes, Gangrel did train me. I started my training with him in 2016 over at Coastal Championship Wrestling in sunny South Florida. And he is, I say this a lot, but I genuinely mean it. He is like a father figure to me in professional wrestling. He is my go-to person for any worries, any advice. And it's funny, he'll tell you I asked him for advice one time and I didn't take it. But it was still every time I call him now and I ask him for advice, like, oh, you didn't take my last one. And I was like, I know, I'm sorry. But he really is like a dad in that sense. He's always there for me. We talk at least once or twice a month on the phone, and he's helped me so much in and out of the ring. I would not be where I am without Gangrel.
Was he excited to hear that you signed with Impact? How did he feel about it?
He was the very first person that I told, the very first person that I called and that I told close to me in professional wrestling that I got offered the contract. He is super excited. He knows that this is what I wanted. I remember before Impact signed me, I was actually talking to him, having a heart to heart and saying, man, like, I'm putting in this work and I just, I just really want to get signed. And he was motivating me, like, just keep putting in the work. It's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. And then when came around, and yeah, I'm hoping that I'm doing him proud.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad. So let's talk Impact. So how are you liking it there? Did you as far as working with Giselle, how do you it has to be amazing. She's amazing in the ring. I have seen Giselle live several times, and I tell people this all the time. TV does no justice for how good she is in the ring if you have to see her live.
Yeah, so I love being a part of the team at Impact. I am more than grateful for all the wealth of knowledge that is readily available backstage to us, by all the vets, because all the vets backstage and the people who are newer to the roster, we all want the same thing, which is for Impact to grow and to be the very best that it can be. And Giselle Shaw is a tremendous talent. I am grateful that I am beside her in Impact. She is a top tier talent in every sense of the word. And you're right, like, it's what you see on camera does not do justice for how amazing she is in the ring. But she goes out there and she delivers every single time.
Well, I have a few questions from the community. One of them wanted to know how much was that dry cleaning bill?
For the chili, that Deonna Purrazzo, all right? It was Deonna Purrazzo's fault that Giselle threw that on me because it was supposed to land on her. It was supposed to be my dry cleaning bill. It's supposed to be her dry cleaning bill. It wasn't even expensive because I threw out the clothes. I didn't even want it after that. I probably would have had the urge to throw up every time I looked at the clothing. because of Deonna Purrazzo. That chili took 3 days for me to wash out of my hair. And I'm not even joking when I say that. Every time that I would wash my hair with shampoo and conditioner for the 2 days following that taping, I would still see some bit of chili coming out. I had chili in places I didn't know chili could be.
I am so sorry. My condolences happens to that. Uh, I, wow.
Rest in
So,
my clothing, yes.
oh, but I'm sure that left you opportunities to purchase new clothes, new place, more options. So
Exactly. And not only that, but Giselle Shaw is gonna get her revenge at No Surrender, which could be, seen in the zone. And not to mention, Deonna Purrazzo, in my opinion, as talented as she is, does not stand a chance against Giselle Shaw. Giselle Shaw is gonna get revenge for her and for I this Friday at No Surrender.
which you can watch actually on Impact Plus. You can become an Impact Insider, and like you said, the zone.
The zone, baby.
That's where it's at. That's where everything's at. But I highly recommend Impact Insiders as well. You can be in the chat, communicate with the community because community is important with Impact and in general. So, one of the main questions that I got from Impact Faithful, because I always like to ask them, if they have any additional questions because they're not a part of this party, they're not a part of this shindig here. They wanted to know what inspires you. What is the biggest inspiration to you every day?
Well, thanks to you, they are a part of it now. So, what inspires me is I think what inspires me is being able to inspire others. And I mean others in the community and just in professional wrestling in general. Um, I can't tell you how many times since being signed I will get a DM by somebody who's a part of the LGBTQ community, just thanking me or, just telling me about their story and how, I'm inspiring them to either chase their dreams or even in professional wrestling, there are barriers that were put up against us in the LGBTQ community, and being the first openly gay male wrestler to sign with Impact, you know, I don't really think it always hits me right away how much of an impact, no pun intended, I have being the first openly gay male wrestler to be with the company, because it is hard being a part of a community that was once looked down upon, but now we're showing, hey, not only can we go in this business, but a lot of times we could go harder than our our other counterparts. And that's a pretty high up there thing. But yeah, it's pretty. I think that's what inspires me, is inspiring others in the community.
You know, uh, I've been a big supporter of the LGBT plus community because I did, come out, a couple of years ago that was bisexual. And, the thing is that a lot of people don't know not only the public struggles, but also the mental struggles as well. And what is, that was, basically, my challenge, as far as it had to do with, the struggle inside. And every year, I always, recommend people to support, the human rights campaign or your local LGBT plus community as well, because it's a struggle on many aspects, not just the public, not just entertainment, not just, in wrestling. It's also the struggle that you go through every day too, on how to, because you're trying to understand and you're trying to get people to understand. And sometimes people don't understand, and that's okay. It like I said, it's hard to explain unless you're put in that situation, in that place.
1,000%. I going back to the struggle. I remember when I was first coming out in wrestling, I was actually openly gay to my family and to my closest friends. But my first 2 years in wrestling, I was in the closet, and it was Gangrel who inspired me to come out. I'll never forget that. One day he and I were talking, we're having a heart to heart. He's like, Mijo, you gay? And I was like, no, 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 no. He's like, you sure? I said, no, I love women. And he says, hey, I take time, I help you out. Like I just want to know. That's it. And I ended up coming out, and he tells me, he's like, well, why don't you just be yourself? And I told him, I said, I'm scared that I'm going to lose bookings over it, that I'm not going to get signed. And he said, F that. If a promoter doesn't like you because, you're gay, then they're a terrible promoter anyways. Just go be yourself. And it's thanks to him that I'm able to, go out there and be myself. And I think that as you said, unless you're put into that situation, you don't understand the struggle. But I think that knocking down these barriers is important so that other people don't have to go through those struggles.
Exactly, and that's why I said it's more of the mental thing. And in general, there are, let's face it, the world the way it is today, there's problems everywhere, but that's why I always encourage and tell people, today's not the best day, but it's going to be better. Tomorrow will be better. You got to have at least some bad to before you turn to good.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, there is always sunshine at the end of the storm, right? There's always a rainbow at the end. No pun intended there either, but there's always a rainbow at the end of the storm. But yeah, no, I'm grateful that that Impact is such a progressive company, and that they, are so willing to sign members of the LGBTQ community and give us a chance to go out there and perform and show that we belong in professional wrestling too.
Exactly. Let's talk a little about you, because everyone, they want to get to know you because you're still a little bit new. And someone had asked if you were going to eventually wrestle Giselle. I don't see it happening because I know you have her back, but someone asked.
I will answer only because that someone asked. Whoever that someone is better know. No, Giselle Shaw and I are like this. People want to call her the Black Widow. However, last time I checked, Giselle Shaw and I have been getting along for a really good amount of time now. So I do not foresee us ever fighting. I got her back no matter what. She is extremely talented, and pulling back the curtain a little bit, she's amazing inside the ring and out. I can't tell you how many times backstage, she'll give me pointers, or, she'll give me advice on, where to be, how to be, and how to do it. And she is just amazing inside the ring and out. So no, I do not foresee Giselle Shaw and I ever fighting each other, but fighting together, who knows, right? Who knows if Giselle Shaw and I will ever team up and take over the world.
Hey, it can happen. You never know. You never know. But also, if you and Giselle do team up in the ring, because I'm sure you will, who would you like to face?
Personally, I think that we should take out the Death Dolls, because last time I checked, Rosemary gave me a spear, and I still need to get her back for that. So, people think that I forget stuff. No, I'm just keeping those tabs, and when it's time to cash out, baby, it's time to cash out. So
you have your eye on Rosemary. You're trying to get back at Rosemary.
1,000%, yes.
Well, as far as singles, who would you like to face in Impact?
As far as singles, I got a few people on my list. First and foremost, a match that I think would mean the world to me to have in Impact would be against Chris Bay. Only because I actually met Chris Bay, met Chris Bay right before he got signed to Impact. And he was the first person close to me to get signed. And I thought that that was really cool. And it was inspiring. Like, whoa, he got signed. That means that I could get signed too. And he always was somebody who was a text or a phone call away and would always give me, motivation to just keep pushing. Every time I would congratulate him on something, I still got the messages, the DMs where he would just be like, "You're next up. Keep pushing. You're next up." So he and I had a match over in Future Stars Wrestling here in Las Vegas. And that match meant the world to me. So to have that match again, but in Impact, because we both came from that same, kind of struggle more or less, I think would be amazing. A few others would be Trey Miguel, Mike Bailey, and even Josh Alexander. And me, I'm a big fan of intergender wrestling. So Deonna Purrazzo is another person on that list after she ruined all my clothes. Like I said, baby, I keep tabs, and when it's time to cash out, it's time to cash out. So if we're adding intergender wrestling onto that, Deonna Purrazzo.
I don't see why not. I think, you know, intergender wrestling's been on TV, but I feel like there needs to be a little bit more as well. Same thing with intergender tag too. I feel like it can add a little bit more. We can definitely add as far as, storytelling, matches, dream matches. I think it'll open up more opportunities, eventually, hopefully we'll get to see more of that in Impact.
1,000%. Yeah. I like you said, intergender tag team wrestling. I think that's a whole different market in and of itself. Um, and like I said, I am more than open to it. And I think it would be amazing to tag with Giselle and do something along those lines.
So before we went on air, you said you were a cat person.
I am a cat person. I absolutely love cats.
Do you have any of your own? Do you have a lot of cats or do you have like one?
No, so actually, I had this cat in when I lived in Florida. The only thing was he was kind of the house's cat. So I couldn't take him with me when I moved over to because I moved over to Vegas in 2019. I couldn't take him with me. So, you can't take a cat away from their environment. That was his kingdom. He ruled the kingdom. He had his own, little places where he would go and nap. And I just couldn't take him away from it. But his name is Anakin. So I'm able to see him every so often when I go to visit my family. And every time I do, all I got to do is just, pss, pss, and he's already right there, just crawling up on me.
Well, is there anything else that you want to maybe tell the Impact community, your fan base, anything, as far as an even independent wrestling fan? Because a lot of people do know you from FSW as well.
Yes. Well, I think that if there's anything that I want to put out there is that, you know, all the bad days come for good reasons. So if you're having a bad day, if you're going through any struggle that you struggle, that you don't talk about, that you're not able to talk about for whatever reason, things get better. And there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I can't tell you how many times before getting signed that I would just be looking through that tunnel and it would be dark. But now down the line, it's like, whoa, the light is here. It finally came. So if there's anything that I got to say is just keep pushing, because eventually your wildest dreams will come true and you'll be able to, if you're, for example, what you're chasing is professional wrestling, if that's your dream, do it. Because here I am, this this little gay boy from Florida, and I'm sharing a locker room with people who I grew up watching, and it's awesome. And also, if you're not already, please join the zone, because you're able to watch all of Impact Wrestling's greatest matches on there. It's for me, it's tape study. What can I study from the past to make myself better? It's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. And of course, make sure to check out Jay and catch Impact Wrestling every Thursday night on Access TV. Watch him and watch the quintessential diva, Giselle Shaw, take over the world of professional wrestling and who knows, maybe even entertainment one day. Tune into Impact Insiders, chat, open up, talk to the community on there. It's fantastic community, fantastic live chat, of course, tweets, Facebook, Impact's everywhere. It's there's so many different ways to watch it.
Exactly. Yeah. Pick your way to watch it, support. That's the important thing. And of course, don't miss No Surrender this Friday. And No Surrender Fallout is going to be in Vegas Saturday and Sunday. And Jai Vidal and Giselle Shaw will be there, as always, showing out, showing up, and taking over.
All right. Thank you, Jay. And everyone, you enjoy your day, your evening, wherever you may be watching this. Goodbye.